Mallards. It is Wednesday, which means it's time, of course, for me to talk about all of the things I enjoyed in this week's episode of Miss Marvel. So we had Miss Marvel episode 3 tonight. I started with, this recap has a lot of great grandma action and some spooky vibes, and I'm really into it. And it kept the spooky vibes all the way through the intro. Also, Kamran and his mom, danger. Like, just danger. I still feel danger vibes as this is starting. And the music stayed intense in the intro, which I was really into. And then I wrote, hold up, Moon Knight is in the intro? How long has Moon Knight been in the intro? How have I not noticed that before? It's just right at the end. And if Moon Knight is right at the end of the intro, is Kate also in the intro and I just haven't seen her? Is Yelena in the intro? I gotta watch that back in slow-mo because like maybe they're there now because Moon Knight is definitely there. So now I'm suspicious. Anyway, then we get a flashback, historical episode, India, 1942. And then I immediately wrote, hang on, is that Kamran's mom in 1942? She's old. Like, clearly we are no longer talking about humans level old. I also like the fact that they found the bangle on an arm and they mentioned that the arm is severed, but no one cared that the arm was also blue, which I think says a lot about the potential that these people are aliens. Because they also said, we want to go back home. So like, you don't care that people are blue and you want to go back home. Sounds alien to me. You know, we've had blue aliens before. This would not be the first time. So I believe it. Maybe they're blue normally. I wasn't sure. And then we flash forward to Kamala sitting in Kamran's living room and all of those people are still there and they're all still young. Oh, should also mention that Kamala's grandmother, Aisha, who had the bangle before, was a member of this group, clearly also from wherever else they're from. So we flash forward and they're like, actually, we're not aliens, we're from another dimension. Because I guess, I know that in the comics, Kamala is an Inhuman, but like the Inhuman show crashed and burned. And despite the fact that Inhumans were part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like living in this gray area right now. So I guess they just wanted to like nix the whole Inhuman thing, which I'm fine with. And they went with this alternate dimension nonsense, not necessarily nonsense, alternate dimension idea. But also then Kamran is cute and now I know that he's not evil. So that was fun. And also being raised by 100-year-old people has to be an absolutely wild time. Sort of like if the old guard had a kid, but they're all hella cute. Like them ribbing him about thinking Kamala was cute and like just the camaraderie that they had was super adorable. And then Kamala thinking that she can do good because Kamran's mom thinks that she's great. And then being like, by the way, we're Jinn. Like that's one of the things that people have called us. Is kind of awesome, but also a little scary. I feel like Jinn in general mythology aren't great and maybe wouldn't be a thing I would brag about being, just personally. So that's when I started to become suspicious again. But then the title sequence happened and it was absolutely beautiful. The title sequence, this is always great, but this one in particular, like the flashes that it went through, so good. And then Kamala's like going to tell Bruno everything because she at least tells somebody everything, which I appreciate. But then she is upset about being called Nightlight, and I disagree. I think that Nightlight is a great superhero name, and as mentioned, I would like merch. because Nightlight's funny. I'd support Nightlight. She sounds great. Also, Selvig. That man knows entirely too much. The fact that there's like this Noor dimension that these Jinn are from, and they're like, oh yeah, I think Selvig wrote a paper on that. How does this man know all of these things? Why is he so connected to all of the weirdness? I just think about that a lot, because he just was kind of a normal scientist. But I suppose if you're getting puppeted around by Loki for a while, and like you have that whole Thor the Dark World encounter with, I don't remember what stone it is that was inside of Jane. Like, I cannot remember now, the red one, but I don't remember which one that was. So like, maybe Selvig like knows some stuff, but I just thought it was funny that he was back. Then those shady government people show up at the mosque, and they say they're the Department of Damage Control, which we definitely have not heard of before. And I can't decide if that's like something that has grown out of post-Endgame, and maybe we're gonna like learn a little bit about them. They're like a blip organization. I'm not sure, but I still do not like them at all. And their behavior in the mosque did not change my opinion. But Nakia, she's the best. Just stepping up, using that law and order knowledge, putting all these government agents in their place, and we love her for that. Then in Kamala's room, there was this hello sign, and I thought it was a text, but it was just a sign, which is fine. And then the wedding party, and the advice that good is not a thing you are, it is a thing you do, was really solid. And I felt like Kamala was getting a lot of the uplifting information she needed. And then Bruno gave her a mask because he's the best, and the mask is really cute. And then she doesn't have to wear that helmet, which doesn't look great, like is just very Captain Marvel. And also, as mentioned, seems really bulky to carry around. Like if you need to just like superhero it up really quickly, then that helmet is not the way to go. And a mask is gonna be a much better choice because Bruno is smart. And then Kamala's dad just casually reading the Urdu, like, Jinn story that makes it clear that maybe Kamran's mom is not great, because it does seem like the Jinn, like, did something bad to get kicked out of their dimension, and all of my alarms are going off again. But Bruno is a great friend and is still willing to help her figure it all out, but he's like, listen, it's dangerous, and it might result in an explosion and like really bad stuff, so you shouldn't do it right now. And then Kamala says the best thing. She says, well, Carol Danvers would just do it. She would figure it out, and she would just blow a hole and send them back to their dimension. And then he says, then Carol Danvers would be reckless. And like, yes, he's absolutely right. She totally would. Like, that's kind of her MO, to like punch things and never ask questions. And I can imagine a moment where she was like, oh yeah, let's just send you back. No problem. Destroys things. But also, this is a great moment for America to show up. She can punch holes through to other dimensions. Maybe she'll just swing in at the very end of this show and help Kamala send the Jinn back. Like, I know I've been hard riding the Ant-Man should be in this show train, and I'm not hopping off of that anytime soon, because despite the fact that there was not an Ant-Man obvious reference in this particular episode, I still think Paul Rudd would be a great choice. But America's been introduced now, and I really like her, and if she showed up, like, building that Young Avengers friendship I want so bad, just throwing it out there. And then Kamala's like back, and her mom helps her fix her knee. And I like that her knee is hurt. I enjoy street level heroes with street level hurts. And I also like this moment with her parents because they're so great. I love it that Kamala is a hero with a relatively healthy support system. Even if she's not gonna tell everybody everything, like she hasn't told Nakia yet, even though I thought she really should have by this point. But like, I like that she's got people who care about her and like a healthy family situation. And as we mentioned previously, it's a very rare occurrence for the superhero lot, so it's really nice to see that. And then this show, which I love so much, devastatingly disappointed me by using traditional text bubbles. After the graffiti and the neon signs and all of these, the stars and all this amazing ways that they've done text messages for 2 episodes, they used traditional bubbles. I guess you were always going to disappoint me. And I'm sorry that it had to happen this way. But I might get over it. Especially if you bring back the cool text messages in the future. But like, if we had just done cool text messages in the first 2 episodes and then you're just gonna go to traditional bubbles the whole rest of the time, I am going to be deeply disappointed. But then we moved out of my disappointment and into the wedding for Kamala's older brother, and it was so cute. It was interesting too because I don't know a lot about like Muslim weddings, and so I thought it was fascinating that like everybody sat, like the whole group sat at the front, which I kind of like. Definitely makes it less tiring, especially if there's a long ceremony. And then they also ask 3 times if you take this other person to be your husband / wife, partner, whatever. And I also thought that was really interesting. It's like very enthusiastic consent. I should look up the history of that because I am interested in why that is a tradition. But I thought it was cool that they like very clearly just wove in these wedding traditions and just make it clear that it's a little bit different than what a lot of Western people who are gonna watch this are used to, but they don't make a big deal out of any of it. And it was so cute. And they were adorable. Like watching them get ready to get married and like getting married, so cute. And then we find out that Kamran's mom is probably evil, which we had suspected because, you know, she called herself a Jinn, and we know that Jinn are like kind of scary. But it was a bummer. Also, I feel really bad for Kamran. He's 17, and like for the first 17 years of your life, your mom and her 100-year-old friends were like really cute and cool, and there was this ribbon, and then they like had the chance to go home, and they've just gone totally single focus evil. And that's gotta suck. Like, I'm sorry. But I can't feel that bad for you because I'm busy back over here at the wedding watching an incredible dance number and the newlyweds' delighted faces and just loving every second of it. It was so fun, and I'm glad that they got that lighthearted moment. It is a bummer that it then had to be interrupted by terrifying people coming to kill Kamala, but she pulled the fire alarm. Kamran warned her. They got everybody out. And that is when I realized that really this is like if the old guard had children, because they're kind of scary fighters like the old guard is. And the fight scenes were really cool. I enjoyed watching the kitchen fight scene. Kamala really was holding her own. I also really liked that they've all got these absolutely wild weapons. Like this guy turns like, I don't know, like a tie clip maybe or something into like a giant hammer. This guy has a belt that turns into a whip. The woman pulls a spear from a spear from somewhere. I don't know how that happened, but I thought that that was really cool. And I liked the weaponry. I liked the fight. And I thought that Kamala did a very good job of holding her own, like you go. And the fight choreo was done in such a way that it made it clear that Kamala was very reactive and not proactive, because she wouldn't necessarily be. It's not like she's a trained fighter, but she was able to use instincts and then her powers to kind of anticipate and hold her own, which I thought was nice. Like, it seemed like a good level of capability. I really enjoyed it. And then Kamran shows up, and of course he knows how to fight because we've now seen his mother. And then they throw him off a balcony, and I was like, oh my God, did they just kill him? But they didn't, because then the government agents that we hate show up and they capture the whole old guard family, and Kamran like gets picked up and he's still alive, which is good. That made me really nervous for a minute. I do feel bad that he got arrested, and maybe they'll find out that he's just normal and they'll send him home, or maybe Kamala will have to break him out away from the evil government agency of Department of Damage Control. I don't know. I mean, we're clearly gonna have to work that out at some point in the future. And then she gets home, has this moment where she can be honest with her parents, and she's not, because it's not time for that yet, I guess. I don't know if in the comics, like, Kamala's parents know that she's a superhero or not. The whole secret identity thing is understandable, but man, do I just wish more people could just be like, yep, I'm a superhero. But then she gets a mysterious call from her grandmother, who saw the same train that Kamala saw in her vision when Kamran's mom touched the bangle. And I guess we're gonna get more of that next episode. It definitely leaves me intrigued for what's gonna happen. This show, despite the fact that it deeply disappointed me with its use of text messages this episode, is so good. It's so fun. It's so well done. Kamala is a great character, and I'm having a blast. I can't wait for next week's episode. And I will see you tomorrow.